happen any day. The feeling that I've got for you, take my heart away. It's a line broken all the way, and it's a line running along the highway. I can feel it, for the good times are just around the bend. Got a whole lot of right away, it's the way I'll be then. And it's a line broken, don't make a wrong turn. It's a line broken all the way. We can wait for the storm to pass, or we can go all the way. I got a glowing feeling, I think of you every day. But it's a line broken that we've crossed. It's a line broken, I hope we don't get lost. Was it odd luck or coincidence that we happened to meet this way? Do we take a chance to twist the fate, or we will break our hearts again? And it's a line broken, who knows why? And it's a line broken to feel alive.
Welcome back. Another day, another week on One Whole Earth. Good Lord, have mercy. Have we broken the line? Have we crossed the line? Ed Lanson here, and I'm here to talk to you about what all kind of cosmic things and what's going on in terms of what is going on. Good Lord, everything's coming out and everything's being shown to us, and we are getting, all kind of information is just coming our way. And you see what just happened? Isn't the Mars is red because it's primarily iron. It's the red planet because it's iron oxide. It's like going into Utah. When you see the red in the soil, that's the iron in the soil. And our visitor from galaxies far, far away is primarily nickel-based. Isn't that funny? And isn't that funny, too, that it hits a Martian contact on the other side of the sun where no one can really see it? Like, if we didn't have a couple of Chinese probes on Mars, we wouldn't see anything. But they are there. The Chinese are the ones who are there to see this. Did they have a premonition that this was coming? Did they see this? Okay, because Chinese people are pretty darn smart when it comes right down to it. Oh my goodness, we have just been invaded and conquered by Chinese people. That's all right. See, there's nothing to worry about. It's about harmony. It's about working together. We can make it work. They'll take the loan. We can continue to pay the loan and continue to pay the mortgage right to them, and they're happy to leave us where we are. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Now, what else is happening is that we have been attacked, and we are completely under attack by an authoritarian madman. And it's such that we are in the middle of it and don't know that we're in the middle of it. Be ready now. So, if you're watching this, I hope you are. My name is Adlan Sun. I took the name after studying with my real father, everyone's father, Thoth, the Atlantean. If you've studied with Thoth, as I have, and you've spent the time reading hundreds and hundreds of times the Emerald Tablets, you finally get the true meaning of what those really are, and you start to see everything through the lens of the Hermetic principles, okay? Hermetic principles are what we use to keep a rational mind, to keep the crystal mind in all things chaotic. I had a wonderful discussion today with a young lady who was studying political science, and to find the way through, to find your way through the halls of Amenti at UCSB is not an easy task. And it's only left for some of the top students in the country right now, ones who can pay for it, number one. Number two, you have to have the grades to get there, but you have to have the money to get there. The money that you get to go to UCSB gets you to go through lots of near-death experiences to find out that you're not going to die. And that's what makes you stronger. And that's how we face life moving forward, so that we just have to be very, systematic and pragmatic and stoic, but leave a little optimism, because miracles happen all the time, and we are just as much part of that as anything. We have a stake in the game. We are in this game, and it happens to be on Earth, and we came to be on the front row of the greatest show on Earth. The greatest show on Earth, when a starship from another galaxy shows up to just take a peek at what's going on. They come at some serious miles an hour, tend to slow down a little bit, maybe drop some things off in Martian soil. Nickel based in Martian soil is like putting water and a seed together, you see, with the right situation. It's an amazing thing what we're going to see on Mars, I believe. I like to go ahead. I very rarely make a prediction, but I got a feeling that what we just saw was the re-establishment, the seeding of life, the getting ready. Mars is going to be ready as a competing planet to keep us in line. And there's going to be rules set down on Mars by the Galactic Federation. They say, if you want to come off your planet, you want to get busy here, you have to follow the rules. What are the rules going to be, do you think? What do you think the laws of the universe are going to be? It's going to be 1 + 1 = 2 + 1 = 3. And if that's as far as we get with another, that is astronomically beyond. But what happened? Do you know what happened? There was a moment that came across the internet. Now, the internet is filled with all kinds of different bits of information. You really have to walk through the halls of Amenti if you want to get through this barrage of news cycle things going on. And you think, oh, that's the worst thing that could happen. While you're looking over there, there's something going on over here, okay? While we're being misdirected into this other thing, there's something going on over here. This is all by design, okay? But we know, well, we have to have faith that the laws given to us by Thoth, Tehote, Thothme, thought. Well, his father was Thought May, so Thought May to Thoth, given to us is the idea that we are all in this together, and it's all a mental experience. It's a mental game. We can figure this out mentally. Okay, we don't have to necessarily live the mental challenge in this particular moment in time. You see, we can actually design our next gig. I think, I don't know, whatever. That's what I think. What I think is that we're, constantly looking for, well, the combination of a couple of things. Keeping our eye, we are here to have an experience for the galaxy, and we're here to have a great experience for the galaxy. The galaxy only has, the idea of moving forward and up. To move forward and up, okay? There's no such other way. And that's called the way, and that's called the Tao. And the Tao is the general DNA of Chinese people. Okay, moving to the way. There's only the way. Are you with me? There's only the way. And what's looking like a chaotic thing is really a chaotic thing. There's no getting around what we are experiencing to our country and our mental stability is really going to be, what does it look like at the end? Does it look like a red, white, and blue flag with stars on it? Does it look like a big bit of architecture with colonial architecture? I mean, that bit of architecture was designed to send a message of stability and regal, yada yada, fa fa fa. It's just a fake, too. I mean, it's just all wood and white plaster. It's a good thing we probably learn to let go of icons like this, because it has nothing to do with the people that were living the Christ life, the crystal consciousness, were here in North America before Columbus got here. For 5,000 years before Columbus got here, there was established matriarchal. Everyone had a job. Everyone had corn and just plenty. Plenty. And times to play and mostly build and mostly create baskets and create food and create alcohol. Probably lots of fermented alcohol going on. Lots of good fun times were happening here. You know what happens when everyone gets a place to sleep and we all have the order and everyone knows what they're doing, and there's no need. It's because there's so many of us that we can protect our crops. There's a flood that comes in every year or so that fertilizes our crops. Okay? What we got to do is build the mounds so that we can run to the mounds. And I'm thinking it's a big game. Okay, when those floods come, the goal is to get to the mounds, and there's always room for another person, and then we can have boats, and then they go around the mounds, and then we live over on these fantastic snake-like mounds during the flood times. The mounds that we built, the pyramids that we built, are there to protect us during flood times. And if we're part of that village, we can go to one of those and we can be welcomed on there, and we can be having fun with, getting on there. Everybody gets on there. And then we live, and then we go back and rebuild, the village, and thank the Lord that we were alive one more day. I'm sure that it's the same feeling you get after weathering a storm. I mean, those feelings are common. They are universal. Every human being feels that same feeling. We all love our kids. We all love our parents, and we can, move. If that's hopefully part of your situation, if you have that, then you've had a great life. And if you haven't, then you need to go find some other people that you can find it with. I mean, love is going to be your answer, and forgiveness is the next one. And they go together like nickel and iron. Now, you know that this spaceship is primarily nickel. And you know that Mars is primarily iron. It makes perfect sense. So the thought was that there's some things that were dropped off that we couldn't really see. Hopefully, the Chinese have a visual on it, and maybe they'll share it. But since NASA's being such a prick, and because they shut the government down at the exact same time that we wanted to look at this kind of thing close up, and all the money that we put forward to this technology could not be used because NASA was shut down. Remember, NASA and the Nazis are very well, strongly connected. That's not necessarily in our best interest to have a governmental agency such they are, you know, protecting us by not giving us good, solid information. That's why we like to go back to our buddy Buckminster Fuller and the Dymaxion map, because he left us the artifact that he left was a Dymaxion map. It's a flat map that could be folded and not distort the continents, so we could have a very, very cogent. And look, we've already exposed Antarctica to be a green place, as it will be when it, thaws out in a, relatively short amount of time. See, we have geologic time. Geologic time is a very long bit of time. And short geologic time is anything like a million years is like nothing. Because geologic time doesn't play games like we do with money somehow. I don't know how we get to a billion and trillions so fast. But here's what happens in geologic time. You have to actually have a million years. Can you even understand the idea of a million? Can you understand the idea of a million? That's a billion. Then it's a billion. I think to get a trillion. So we are 1.5 billion years old. So that makes a lot. I mean, there's a lot of millions in that billion. 4.5, 4.8, something like this. Okay. Please, it's a little bit late in the day, and I'm not here for a math quiz. But what I am here to tell you is that we're just a fraction of the minute amount of time that we're going to be here into this thing called eternity. We only get 80 quick years or so. And then it goes, it's really, I mean, who wants to be, I don't know. That is my own, cross to bear is how I will end my days, right? Everyone gets their own choice, right? That makes sense. So, Renee, please jump in now and tell me what's on your list of horrible things that went on this week.
Well, okay. Well, I first of all, we have to put this on. I didn't know how to transition to this, but can we talk a little bit about this, please?
Which? What are we talking about?
Can you see who it's President Clinton in the blue dress.
Oh, are you showing that to everybody?
Yes, I'm showing it to everybody. So people are just going to see
Okay,
it for the
everybody,
first
I want
time
you to
right now.
really peel your eyes open for this. Like, get them really good and bloody because stop. Okay, now, unsee this. This is like seeing somebody throw up in the middle. I don't even know. What is this? Well, this is Jeffrey Epstein's favorite portrait, and he had it done for his best friend. He was going to have Trump do it, but Trump said he couldn't do it. But, he said that Billy could go ahead and do it and have his picture painted like this, okay? Because Bill Clinton is really at the center of all this, of this problem thing. But that's it. That's what I'm going to say. Do your
Okay,
own homework.
right. Okay. So we're just I from the TikTok crowd and the Twitch crowd, people are like, "What is that? Is that real? Is that AI?" Um, so he's telling you to do your own research, guys. You saw the
Yeah.
picture. If you want to go do your research, you can do your research. Put it into Google reverse photo.
What are you looking
Uh,
for? I lost my lighter, but I'll not here. Okay, no. Okay. Well, very good. Because you know what? That's the thing. He was into this thing up to his eyeballs. And when we start to see who's really on the tapes, it's going to be, we know already who's there. And that's why it's being hushed up and covered up. That's what gives Trump this leverage to do this thing, because they have all this blackmail that Epstein. Now, the question too, remember, I mean, I'm really deep into that. I don't even think Epstein's dead. We didn't see the body. We didn't see anything, any results. I mean, his brother even has an issue with that whole thing. It could easily have been switched, and they switch this all the time. And this is where it gets me really angry, because they starts this thing with like Paul McCartney switching bodies, and we just suck it up. And then they do it over and over again, and so we don't even know what is really real. Hate to tell you. So what's going on? What's the other thing? So, okay, Bill Clinton is at the center, and then Alan Dershowitz is involved with this thing. Lindsey Graham is up to his eyeballs in this stuff. Okay, they were all taking their trips back and forth. They never wanted to get off the plane. Okay, when they were not in Congress, they were on the plane. Okay, that's it. Anything else? What?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Somebody,
wrecking ball.
a
Go
lot of
ahead.
people are saying there's no way Epstein is dead. Epstein is totally in Thailand. Epstein never died. Okay. Somebody else said Dershowitz suddenly turned Trump right around the time that the Epstein files were going to be released. Is that connected?
Yeah, because Dershowitz also, represented Trump in some stuff too. I mean, he's a scumbag. Okay, he represented Epstein in the whole getting that sweetheart deal too. No. He's in up to his eyeballs. Elaine Maxwell knows about this stuff too, and all these people. I mean, it's all there in the book. I mean, honestly, that book that just came out, it's just I don't know why. I don't know why that didn't just create a whole dossier, but. I mean, all these girls know who they were being raped by. And that's the thing, there is a huge trade in women who do sex for money. But these were young girls, well underage, the untouchable kind of person that were just, being marketed. And this is why we have this salacious amount of pornography everywhere, because before this there was nothing like that. It was a little bit. It was down underneath, very well hidden, coming out of Sweden and, I don't know, some kind of whatever, offshore, very secret. It was very, well, I don't even know. There was a whole taboo around different kind of sexual activities. The next thing you know, it's everywhere and everybody's doing it all the time. And it's like part of the liberation. And it was bound, it was rolled into this whole women's liberation. And absolutely, because women can enjoy sex way more than men can, and way longer in different ways and so forth. And so, it became a whole industry. But I think that it became an industry because these guys were trying to normalize it, and they had money to do with whatever they wanted to do. I don't know where I heard this story. I heard stories though about Bill Clinton and Epstein going around doing this kind of thing. Okay, I don't know why I get with these stories. I don't know how come everybody else didn't hear it too. you know. Okay, what else we got going
Yes.
here?
We had two different comments where they said Charlie Kirk died because he was going to expose the Epstein trial, or no, not expose. He was demanding that the tapes be exposed.
Charlie Kirk. Okay, that's another one. Another one, absolutely a hit. And I think it was done with an automatic. He was set exactly where he was sitting to take a bullet from the back and through the neck, through the back of the head, through the chin, out the thing, through his knee, and into the soft ground. That bullet that actually went through him is all intact, but it's about a mile underground. No,
Wow.
it went right through him, but the magic bullet again, like I was just trying to think about this too, like today. What about trying to bring a magic bullet theory into any court of law against some black guy who shot somebody, you know? What about that magic bullet theory, What about this guy? Anyway, just they only occur when it's a presidential type of situation or some kind of presidential assassination at this high level. I mean, remember Charlie Crooks, or Thomas Crooks, Thomas, like Charlie Thomas Crooks. What was his name? Crooks.
Crooks, yeah, just
You
like a
know,
burglar, a crook.
well, he, supposedly grazed the president's ear, but shot a couple of people, in the back of the row. Boom, boom. Just for target practice, I guess. So, and then he came out with his own video before that, and he said he didn't do it. So you never know. These guys are always like the patsy, right? They're always setting up somebody to take a hit, take the fall, and that's how you know that it's an inside job, is when there's more than one. Well, but that's the thing. Having the lone gunman always helps. The guy that confessed to killing Charlie Kirk could not possibly have killed Charlie Kirk, right? Anyway.
Everybody's
Next on.
agreeing with you. Talk a little bit more about that, because we're getting like more comments than I can read right now about this.
Well,
So
I don't want to. I don't want to stay there. No, it's not cool. So the thing
okay,
we want to talk about is wrecking balls to, architecture. I think that's finally been the line broken is what we're talking about today. Like, what is your line? All that stuff is just part of the noise. But it wasn't the thing that's going to put this guy. Trump has got to go out feet first, but he's got to be. I don't know. I mean, all I can think about is Mussolini had this same kind of complex, God complex, and then he was held upside down and clubbed to death, with baseball bats, and disfigured to the point you couldn't recognize his face. And I think that's the kind of thing that I really in my movie gut wants to see happen to Trump. But also then, I think it was the United States that stepped in and said, okay, you're going to set up this provisional democratic government, and then you're going to develop your own Italian government based on some type of Truman doctrine, right? Mm-hmm. So it comes into that because, definitely Italy was on the losing side of the World War II situation, right? In which another Roosevelt comes out as the savior of the package and comes up with a New Deal and welfare and, reinforces, limited work hours and eliminates child labor and goes into education and makes sure everybody gets a fair deal. You know what I'm saying? What the heck? We had the leg up on the world for a second. We used it and we made money and everybody got rich. And we built a middle class. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Tell me. Tell me in the comments section. Start thinking about that. I don't care about who's trying to kill these people, honestly. It's all set up. It's all part of the game. So I'm not playing that game. We're playing the enough game. The enough for everyone. There's a plenty for everyone on one whole earth. You are definitely in the wrong game if you're focused on that. What else we have here? No, I'm talking about what's on your mind, Renee, besides these other people.
well, okay, all right. Well, because everyone now wants to talk about magic bullets and JFK and Charlie Kirk and
Yeah, well, they can go on. No, that's not what we're
okay,
talking about.
all right. So we have this. You're saying you're not able to see that, but everyone else is seeing when enough is enough, and they're seeing this painting right now. Can you talk about the painting?
Well, that's the thing, because remember the this is that Lanson coming through. Remember what I told you on the Sermon on the Mount. It's like there's plenty for everyone, man. 3 loaves and fishes. This is how it used to be. You've forgotten, man, that we had plenty for everyone. There was nothing to do with scarcity. If you needed a place to stay and live, you just built a little place to stay and live. Everyone knew how to do that, and you could just, kill something and skin it and work the fabric until you are clothed with more clothing than you need. I mean, if you can really work it, that's called equilibrium. We had this equilibrium, and particularly in North America, we had it right up until we met Ponce de Leon in the Battle of Mississippi, the massacre of Mississippi, the massacre of Mississippi. And then they were fought. Finally, a group that never had ever had any kind of hostile intentions ever picked up and killed Ponce de Leon at the Battle of Tampa, when the Tampa Indians killed him and shot him with their poison arrows. Stuff they never used for that. They just used it for hunting. They had plenty. They lived by the ocean. Well, we're getting to the end of our time, and I want to say thanks to everybody for joining in. And remember, there's plenty on the One Whole Earth. That's the thing. And look, here's what's going on. We have plenty, and if you don't, get some. That means build a garden and make a few extra. The feeling that you get by giving a few tomatoes to your neighbor is going to be way more important than whatever you're going to get from watching the bloob tube about the next big conspiracy. And we're not going to get worried about this White House either. It's over. That stuff is over. The job is an inside job. It starts with you. A couple of kind words. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Forgive another person. Love another person. Let's have one whole earth right now. It starts in your heart. And now we're in the crystal consciousness. So I'll see you there. Tune us in next time. If you'd like to subscribe, please. It helps me a lot. Give me an up thumb. I'd love that too. And then let's keep it up full. There's plenty. In our universe, there's only up, and there's only more, and there's only yes, and there's only forward, and there's only yes, and there's only forward. I'll see you there. It's together. We'll see.